Hi folks, how are you doing? I'm the Reverend Danny Crosby, a Unitarian minister serving congregations in Altrincham and in Urmston in the northwest of England. I hope you're finding the love and that you're witnessing the blessings in life, in what has been very, very difficult times. Remember that we're all in this one together. Remember also that there is light at the end of the tunnel. But let us also remember, let us not just be seekers of that light, but also creators, sharers, and givers of that very same light. I offer this devotion as my little bit of hope, really, my little bit of something, doing what I can do, playing my role in being part of the solution. It's offered as a balm for the heart, for the mind, for the spirit, and for the soul. And the title for today's reflection devotion is The Golden Rule plus 20%, multiplying by subtraction. Sounds a bit odd, that, doesn't it? Well, more will be revealed. Just wait. So I invite us to still ourselves. Let us invite a loving presence to be here amongst us and to awaken from deep, deep within our own being. I have lit the flame of freedom in the cup of belonging, acceptance, and love. We join together despite our physical separation, but united in our devotion to life and to love. Be still with me and enter into the crescent fold of my arm as we join together as one in this time and in this space. Wind your thoughts like a river toward the centre of who we are, as one humanity in this one shared world. Be still with me as we join together on the beautiful journey. We are vessels sailing together in the ship of love, on the ship of life, journeying on the waters of life. Alive with a purpose and a strength perhaps unknown to us. Be still with me as we enter into this time together, in stillness, in the spirit of love, and in gratitude for life. Let's be open to the love that is present in life. Let's bring that love alive through our fragile human being. Amen. So I was talking with a friend the other day. He is not a religious man, although he told me he'd given up certain food types for Lent. Now, his primary motivation was, of course, to lose weight. Like most folk, including myself, he's gained quite a bit of weight this last year. And this seems to have been especially true during this second lockdown. It's been tough going, staying physically healthy. Food's such a comfort, isn't it? I have stepped back into good eating myself in the last week or so. Not so much as a Lenten practice, but more for general well-being. I'm also exercising more on a more disciplined way, trying to get back in shape physically, and it's helping me emotionally, mentally and spiritually too, I have noticed. Interesting that, isn't it? I said at the beginning of Lent, I think that we have probably given up enough this year, and that perhaps instead of focusing on what we ought to give up at this time, what we ought to be doing is focusing on what we can give instead. Now, I recently came across a rather wonderful meme posted by the Reverend Bill Darlington, one of my heroes actually. He posted it on Facebook, on social media, and it comes from an organisation called the Marginal Mennonites, which is a kind of progressive religious organisation. The meme read this: I have something that I call my golden rule. It goes something like this. Do unto others 20% better than you would expect them to do unto you, to correct the subjective error. I liked this quote by Linus Pauling, who twice won the Nobel Prize for chemistry, one of the greatest scientists of all time, or he's regarded as that anyway, and who was also a committed Unitarian Universalist. The quotation suggests that the golden rule, found in all the great traditions of course, in various forms, do unto others as you would have them do to you, no longer cuts the mustard, because subjective error is involved. And what is subjective error? Well, it is an error caused by bias or prejudice. No one can be truly objective. And the problem with treating others as we would like to be treated is that it doesn't fully take into account the perspective of the other. We do not put ourselves in their shoes. We can't fully do so. So instead of treating them as well as we would like to be treated, what we ought to be doing instead is actually treating them better than we would want to be. By doing so, we begin to raise one another up. Maybe by doing so, we begin to treat one another better. And if we keep on adding to one another, we may just raise up our shared humanity and create a better, more loving world. Possible, maybe. Please don't get me wrong. The golden rule is a great starting point. A wonderful starting point, a great place to begin. And it, in and of itself, it is an improvement on the eye for an eye philosophy, which, as Gandhi pointed out, leaves everyone but blind. And of course, the eye for an eye concept of justice is actually an improvement on unlimited revenge, which was kind of the rule before they brought that one in. All of which are steps in progression. But I think we could go further. And I suspect that the twice Nobel Prize winner for chemistry, Linus Pauling, may have the answer to raising up our shared humanity. What do you reckon? Does he make a good point? I think he does. And it's an idea that Viktor Frankl proposed in my favourite video clip that you can find on YouTube. It's wonderful. He's given this lecture in the 1970s, early 1970s, to a bunch of North American students. It's just a wonderful thing to watch. Look for it. It's beautiful. But in the video he states, and I'm not going to try the accent, so apologies for that. So you'll just have to imagine an Austrian accent here. He states, we have to be idealists in a way, because then we wind up as the true, the real realists. And so you know who has said this? If we take man as he is, we make him worse. But if we take man as he should be, we make him capable of becoming what he can be. This was Goethe. He said this verbally. Now you will understand. This is the most apt maxim and motto for any psychotherapeutic activity. So if you don't recognise a young man's will to meaning, man's search for meaning, you make him worse. You make him dull. You make him frustrated. While if you presuppose in this man there must be a spark of meaning, let's presuppose it. And then you will elicit it from him. You will make him capable of becoming what he in principle is capable of becoming. Written before gender neutral language, so please understand that. As you know, Viktor Frankl is, well, as I hope you know, as anybody who knows me will know, Viktor Frankl is my favourite. I love the twinkle in his eye that is so evident in this clip, as well as his obvious humour. It shines through. He takes what he does seriously, without taking himself too seriously. In this wonderful little clip, he makes an argument for the idealist in all of us. as he points to what we are all capable of being. What we're capable of being if we could just tap into our God-given human potential. Every human being on earth is capable of more, I'm sure. But we don't know what we're capable of, really. We don't mind what is so deep within us. Or not enough of us do, perhaps. I know I haven't yet. As Frankl says, by definition, the idealist always overestimates what is possible, whereas a realist will only estimate exactly what is possible and no more. In fact, perhaps a realist will ever so slightly underestimate what is possible, just to be on the safe side, just to avoid disappointment, just to ensure that they won't overestimate things and aim too high and thus feel disappointed. Well, we should all feel disappointed. There's nothing wrong with being disappointed. It's a good human emotion at times. It strives us to do better. And is this realistic, really? Is this truly realism? I'm not convinced. Frankl suggests by aiming at a realistic level, we always fall short of the mark. By taking a realistic view of people, we are setting them up to fall way short of what they are capable of achieving. Whereas if we aim high, above even, and become idealists about human nature, we can lift people up to where they are capable of reaching. And thus, if they fall short of the mark, they fall to a true, realistic level. For Frankl, a true realist must be an idealist. To achieve what we are capable of, we must overestimate what is possible. To become our true selves, we must be optimistic. To achieve what we are capable of achieving, we must believe we are capable of more than we actually think we are capable of. And by giving out more than we think we are receiving back, we will receive back far more than we thought was possible. In so doing, we will encourage others to do the same. We become the example we've all been searching for. We become the light. I see clear parallels here with Linus Pauling's golden rule plus 20%. I'll just repeat that lovely quotation. I have something that I call my golden rule. It goes something like this. Do unto others 20% better than you would expect them to do unto you to correct the subjective error. I love Linus Pauling's uncommon sense, especially when I combine his wisdom with that of Frankl. In expecting more from people, in giving more than we expect, we take the risk of love. Love that is at the core of living faithfully, and in so doing we pour out more love than we believe is available, and thus love grows. This is the strange, peculiar mathematics of giving. This is classic uncommon sense. By giving out more than we receive, by overestimating what is possible, we encourage others to do the same, and thus they will give out more, and thus we will receive more than we give. Love will somehow become multiplied by subtraction. All we have to do is take the lead, is take the risk first. It's up to us. Let's be bearers of the light, not just seekers of the light. If we want to know love, we need to give out love into this, our shared world. We need to risk our hearts to that love. We need to be true realists by being idealists about ourselves and humanity and life itself. This is not to ignore the darker side of life, far from it. No, we don't ignore it. In fact, it's that inspires us to do it, I would say. We need to acknowledge what is wrong with the world, without becoming weighed down by the world, without becoming lazy cynics who just sling mud and point out what is wrong. Let's do what we can instead. The kingdom of love is truly within us and amongst us. It is our task, though, to bring that love alive through our frail, fragile human lives, to risk that love. It's up to us to raise one another up, to aim as high as we can and become the people we never knew we were capable of becoming. The great medieval heretical mystic Meister Eckhart said, "God is not found in the soul by adding anything, but by the process of subtraction." Isn't that another example of this wonderful uncommon sense I'm trying to talk about today? This uncommon sense that defies the perceived laws of nature as we understand it, and yet so true. Be multiplied by subtraction. How by giving away a particular commodity, not only does the person receiving gain, but so does the giver, and everybody actually is caught up in the activity. Those that are just around in the area gain too. You see, if you give 20% more than you would like given to you, you will know more love than you ever thought was possible. In fact, if you want to fill the cup of love that you hold in your own heart, the first thing you must do is empty it and pour it out on all who share this world with you. In so doing, you will encourage others to give as much as their heart desires and 20% more. And in so doing, more is poured out for all of us to share. And in so doing, we will begin to create the kingdom of love. That kingdom, that realm of love where all are kin, that we've all been seeking. But it begins with us. We must make the first move. Over the next few months, we are going to be returning to some form of normality, some level of normality, slowly, but we are returning. I'm sure we cannot wait to get to the lives that we used to live. To get back to some kind of normality is what we're all saying. But is that enough? The world was not exactly perfect then, was it? We used to complain a lot. We used to sling lots of mud. There was much wrong. So surely we ought to be striving for more, for a better world. A world that begins to fulfill its potential. Maybe 20% more. Is it possible? Maybe. You never know. Have we really tried? Yes, the golden rule is a wonderful starting point, but it's not enough. For as Frankl so wisely pointed out, if we only aim at what we believe is possible, we will fall short of this. Whereas if we aim 20% higher, if we see one another as better than we actually think we are, we might just reach what is possible, what is achievable. If we do, we will encourage one another to give more of ourselves and thus add more to the lives of everyone and everything. We will begin to multiply by subtraction. And maybe, just maybe, that is what the kingdom of love, maybe, just maybe, that's what it looks like. So let's begin with the golden rule plus 20%. Let's begin to give out more of our love, and let's do so abundantly. Let us take the risk of love. Let us aim high, and then it won't matter if we fall short, because in so doing we will have reached a realistic level, And we'll also encourage others to do the same, and thus love will begin to grow and flow and multiply by subtraction. As we give more away, more is gained. It will grow. We will somehow multiply the love in the world by the miracle of subtraction. Now, wouldn't that be amazing? Isn't that already amazing? In so doing, we might just begin to create the kingdom of love right here, right now. Let's do what they say is impossible. Let's build that land right here, right now. We can do it, but it begins with you, and it begins with me, because we're all in this one together, all the way. Amen. I'm going to end this reflection with a few words of blessing, for we need to bless more. And we can all bless. We do so by giving our whole hearts to life. So let us begin today. Let's give our whole hearts to life. So I offer these final words of blessing for today. Many days we share this life together and flower and flow with all that is and all that was and all that shall ever be. Let us bless life in our hearts, and let's do so in our thoughts, our words and our deeds. And life will bless us in return. Let's do so in all that we feel, in all that we think, in all that we say, in all that we do. Let's multiply by subtraction.